Good morning. Happy Monday. Here we go again. Same old trading range. China, positive China, not so happy China, impeachment this. It's getting boring, but maybe we get some resolve. I have no idea why we should, but just looking at the charts, we'll start here with the spiders. We do have a buy setup on the weekly time frame. Yesterday the buyers ran for the exit near the close, and what was a nice looking green bar turned into a topping tail bar. And now we've got this unfilled gap below. So whatever happens today, I think we just have to look at it as this is a positive. As always, can it clear the prior bar's high? In reality, we've already got a triggered buy setup, meaning from the weekly time frame, we had the pullback, and this is a rather large range bar going all the way back down to this area here and turned into a bottoming tail bar. And last week, this did trigger over the high of that bar. Now, it did it, I'm not sure. No, I guess it didn't do it on the gap, but it gapped up and then pushed up above and it gave it back. So part of the creation of this bar includes this gap here. So it's still a mess, but just looking at the charts, it's, strong move up. It didn't take out the high. Well, it did make that little peekaboo there and then pulled back. And so we've got a pullback pattern that triggered over prior bar's high. And now we've got a second bar, which does make it better. So now the question is, can it take out Friday's high? And if it does that, well, that's a plus, but big deal. Back to the top of the range. Can it clear the top of the range? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I guess it would take some news. Otherwise, we just have to be skeptical about whether it actually does that or not. So it's what we have going into the end of the year right now. Maybe a retest pattern, kind of like just wait and see here. Keep the powder dry for the most part. And, there are stocks on their own page. And so Dan created a video about that, which is some great stuff. You can check it out. Should be in your inbox. Anyway, so looking for pullbacks here. Maybe a pullback into this gap fill would be buyable. Should we get a pullback in here? So we always look at this high and then the next high. So somewhere in this area, if it begins to pull back and, starting off a little bit negative here, but in reality, not a big deal within this upward move on the spiders. And we'll see what it looks like on the futures are a bit cleaner. Remember, McGraw plays those Iron Condors on the SPX and levels to 29.90, 29.95. I don't think so, McGraw. I don't think so. You could be right. I mean, it's got this resistance here, but remember the depth of retracement here. Even though it's coming in a bit, you have to respect the depth of retracement up here. So to play it that tight, I think that could easily get taken out and go up. Now, if it comes down here, it comes into the middle of the range, 0 days to expiration, that's looking a lot better than what premium is there. Obviously you just have to see, but coming down into here, I would like that idea much more. All right, so let's 230 start there. 230. Well, I may not have to go down that far to start there. I mean, if you just come down into this area, again, the further it goes down, the less those strikes are going to be worth. But 1 day to expiration, it's not about making a killing, but it's more of a sure thing type of income trade. Nothing wrong with that. Good plan. So we'll see how that works out. All right. Qs. Similar story. We had the bottoming tail bar, took it out, actually cleared that resistance there and got a little further up. So it's pretty darn close to the old highs up there, as you can see, pretty darn close. But still just within the trading range. Hourly, in an uptrend, a rather deep retracement. Within that, the futures will look a little clearer. But the same story everywhere. It's been like that. This really looked like a start of something that could go to new all-time highs. The wrong way option traders loaded up on calls. Can't blame them. It looked good, but we never want to be on the same side of those individuals. They just historically never, I shouldn't say they never get it right, but they're wrong so often. It's just, you just have to respect the information that they provide. There's that chart. Oh, there you go. So they start loading up on calls down there. They start loading up on puts down here. They load up on puts over here. They line up a bunch of calls over here. And you wonder how they just continue to operate with such a track record. Well, new lineup of losers show up on a regular basis with the same plan and strategies, I guess. When it's obvious that things have gone up, load up on calls, looking for it to continue, and vice versa. Now, that being said, if this had run up here and this was in the middle, then we'd look at it as having gas in the tank. And, that the idea would be, okay, they're not loaded yet, so odds are good it could go higher. And then once they do get loaded, we know it's near the end of the move. So pretty simple, and it works. Been doing it for decades, watching these guys. Wish I actually knew who they were, but maybe they buy stocks at, after they've run up 20 bars in a row or what have you. Good contrarian indicators in any event. So S&Ps, same story, going nowhere there. Same weekly chart, in the middle of the range, is poked up toward resistance. Come back in on Friday. Inside day so far doesn't mean anything. We'll just see where it goes. In the uncertainty about, China, this, you listen to the news. Oh, this all worked out. Really, it's working out well. Now China wants more talks on the same phase one. So now we're not so sure. Were we ever sure of anything over the last several months, other than the fact that the markets are range bound and trade accordingly? So as prices come down here, with the weekly look, and they do, this would be the place to look for buyers to show up and see if they can get it turned around. And maybe this turns into a green bar with limited upside, and we'll see what happens. Same story over here. Actually better looking than the S&Ps to the degree that you could say it's better looking. You still got the resistance, right up here, and then the next level there. But we're looking at these intraday, and looking at individual stocks is definitely the way to go if you're a nimble intraday trader. This is often going to be tradable. Dan covers the gappers, but I did notice beyond that now looks quite vulnerable to turning into, let's just say, a mishmash of fake hamburgers with this void below. It's broken down here. It looks great, Dan. Like I'd just say $100 should be a downside target just as a whole number, and you got a little congestion over there. So, unfilled gap and so on. So maybe this thing's headed to $100 if it doesn't have a miracle turnaround here today. The Dow futures, same story. They're all the same, just to different degrees until we get to the Russell, which has had the relative weakness, but weekly the same, hourly the same. Dow the same. As mentioned, the Q's got above its respective resistance area there. And here you have the Russell, which came all the way back down to the top of the range. And that's why we were looking for this last week to have better odds of a larger move, because it had the bigger move to the downside, which has created the void up above, which it's now filled in. It did what we thought it would do, with some jiggles along the way, but it made it up there. So now we'll see what today brings. could be just an inside day, which wouldn't be such a bad thing. While boring for the day, looking at this chart, having a larger range like this, and then a inside day is actually constructive and supportive of being able to go higher. So we'll just see what happens here. Crude oil. A second here, I lost a page. Crude oil. What's your opinion on Roku? Dan will take a look at Roku. Crude oil, breakout, bottom of the range, buyers step up. That's why we repeat. Look to the left, look to the left. Why we say look to the left? Buyers were there before. Buyers show up again. See the pattern that forms in the prior area where they showed up before. And there was your event type of bar, but since it took out the lows and then reversed back up again, didn't get very far, and now it's pulling back in. Whereas that type of a bar, would have thought, hey, maybe this can get back up into this area over here of resistance. Well, not happening. You got some slop. Got a lot of slop going on here. Bonds is, one of the bigger positive, and kind of surprised. I guess the markets, whatever, they came off the low, but now it's at support. We'll see if this jiggles around here, but it did a lot of work to improve this yield curve. Well, this is the shortest against the longest, so you can see it just made a peekaboo under inversion, where others like the 2 against the 10 or the 5 against the 10, whatever, they were inverted. And this, just came down to the edge, and now that's a big improvement. So this whole, we're going to have a recession scenario, there's less support for that. But that's just based on these beliefs about China and things are going to work out. We'll just have to see. And with that, we always look at, the transports, and they've come off of the low. There's a bunch of transport stocks reporting some earnings as well as financials this week, so we'll see how they do. But the more improvement we can see on transports moving higher and the bonds moving lower, that's going to support equities, and we'll see if they possibly can get through the top of the trading range. So, we're looking for a lot of things here and there to see if they can break out or break down. Whereas if prices were trending, it's easy. Higher highs and higher lows, it's going higher. And here, where every other day, we're looking at this information and that information, is it going to go higher or lower? And then, well, it's in this range. So we'll see what happens. Pat Sullivan bond markets closed today for Columbus Day. I guess what's happening here, Pat? We don't get the day off. We're like a redheaded stepchild here. Anyway, gold. Maybe a retest down here would be a buyable event. We shall see. And E-Trade, well, they probably are closed if it's Columbus Day. So we'll see. Anyway, nothing going on there. Waiting for a setup. Silver, nothing going on there. Waiting for a setup. Dollar's been coming in, but this is the euro. So euro against the dollar. So maybe this is bottom, but overall, not a great pattern either. I think we got the next Brexit vote coming up here, and the pound has been starting to percolate, or it is. So maybe that's a place to go, and we shall see. And Bitcoin doing nothing there. Just having to take a look at some news today on Facebook and their currency, and them being told it's not going to happen without some regulations. But we'll see. Anyway, all yours, Dan. So you have some things of interest for us.
All right. Good morning. Thanks. Yeah, the regulators, they don't want they want to track money. So I thought Facebook was going to have a hard time getting that off the ground. And then, you know, the companies are abandoning them, Visa, MasterCard, and others, said I'm not getting involved with the regulators. Opens on the weekly. Expedia, put spread. Intel, we actually sold naked puts, the 50.5s, way down here. Lulu put spread sold off a little bit Friday, but more relative strength than the rest of the markets. McDonald's call spread looks great. Gapping, yeah, that was a nice trade. We covered half at more than 50% of max profits. NOW put spread. Schwab put spread, and we're just in trail mode. I saw Ameritrade bouncing here pre-market. It was gapping, well, it's gapping down. Shop put spread. Nope, that's not Shop. That's Shop. Square is on probation. That was a, you know, kind of a reverse head and shoulders breakout, closed week. And we're short the the 61.57, so that's on a very tight leash. On Target, we have a put spread, and we actually have a directional option trade also. I think both look great. And finally, VMware put spread. Swing trader, AMT. We have a covered call. Beyond, yeah, we just shorted this Friday. We're a day late, but still, I mean, look at this weekly. Big old head and shoulders here. Fluid move. There's news on it. Cut of meat. All right, so Intel, we also have a directional in here. We bought the stock on Friday with the semis acting strong. And we also bought NVIDIA. It's a core trade, though, with a big stop. Look at this beautiful monthly. Retest, now consolidating at these highs. IRT, long stock. IYT, put spread. Jable, covered call as a core trade. JCOM, bought the breakout. We're in trail mode. Kim, another core trade, long stock. SITC, another core trade. Look at this monthly. Head and shoulders bottom on the monthly with a price void. Target we talked about. And Tilray Dog, we're also short. And it's a bear 1, 2, 3. Look at this bearish day and a half consolidation. That's what a 1, 2, 3 is. Bearish consolidation in the lower part of this wide range bar. Look, it tried to bounce a little bit on Friday, and it went nowhere. Below, core trade. And finally, XLE, we have a put spread. That's it in the opens, which is a lot. It was hard finding quality patterns over the weekend, and that's a sign also that don't push it. Greg has a statement: when the markets are confused, we're confused. And that's what I felt like. All right, what do we got here? VNet 774. So it's a big gap, but it's a mess. There's no pattern. Papa Echo. Wow, this was that day it was the very bullish gap on the Saudi oil fields bombing. And there were so many bullish gaps in oil, and look how that gave it all up. It was trying to bottom actually last week. Now it's getting clocked again. I don't know what the news is. I just saw this little guy going by the ticker. I'm like, what's a D-Dog? So a recent IPO. No pattern at all. But I like watching IPOs. We did look at this on Friday Gap. And, you know, I'll trade penny stocks provided we got a good pattern and provided the 15-minute chart is very readable and thick. It was a mess all day. I don't know. It would have been a hard one to trade. PE is buying peak energy. Okay, that's why it's gapping. You know, with the transports rebounding, let's keep an eye on this. ALK, nice weekly breakout there. And here's two railroads. CSX, let's watch this for a put spread for Friday. KSU, it's rallied to resistance, so it needs to go sideways, but it's a 180 reversal on the weekly. McGraw asked me about Yeti. And yeah, you know, it's a retest. It went up, it went sideways. So McGraw, under these tails right here, so the 28, you can see if you can get any juice for a put spread. But for a directional, I would prefer a 1, 2, 3. You know, you may not get it, but it looks higher. And I'm, you know, with the market weak, that gives us the luxury to be more cautious on long entries. And Xilinx got an upgrade. There's absolutely no pattern. Fast got a downgrade. Nice gap and close on Friday. Wow. VAR. I don't know if this was earnings or upgrade, whatever. I don't know why I wrote it down. But there's no pattern. Turkey, you know, with all that's going on, them invading, this and that, look at that's gapping down. Bearish gap. That's an island reversal too. A bear island reversal. So you can drive a truck through the window on the left and right sides. Crowd, I don't know what the news is, but that's a bearish gap. But these overlapping bars are support. Glob, McGraw asked me about that. It's a beautiful bottoming pattern. Reverse head and shoulders again. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then higher high, higher low. Nice day on Friday. So let's watch that for a put spread, McGraw. C, another put spread idea. Actually, this was the doctor who's learning our technical approach and credit spreads. She says, "Hey Dan, what about this for a put spread?" And I said, "Yeah, you know, go through the checklist." So over the high, you know, 210 would be more aggressive, but maybe 207.50. Make sure the spreads are tight and time it with the market internals and get good juice for it. There's our McDonald's gapping down, so I'll keep an eye on him to tighten our stop. Expedia, okay, so these we're done now. 926, let's see if there's any fangs of interest. We had a put spread that expired 100% on Friday. Apple down, but still relative strength. Oh yeah, one of you wanted to look at Roku. Over the high, I think it's fine, but your target is these overlapping bars in the 130 area. And it had a nice 4-day run, so maybe instead it'll pull in and then go sideways for a couple days. But with the weak market here again, I'm in no rush for new for new longs. Costco, we had a put spread that expired. There's our Tilray dog. Oh, Target, nice, up 59 cents in a weak market. I have all these on my other screen. FISB, I like that over the high. Same with CVS over the high. Now, I purposely did these because they are not going to trigger unless they're strong. But look at the weekly on CVS. It's a buy setup. Looks good. XLK looks good. We said the semis look good. Look at this XME, a big major support here. I was looking at that to sell puts, but they were crazy spreading. K got a favorable mention in Barron's, but there's no pattern. Tau, I just saw the symbol in Barron's. I don't know what they were talking about, but it's one of the China stocks. I like the daily weekly. It's worth watching. Well, if it can break out. CRI was mentioned in Barron's. See if we can get a put spread. UI broke out. Put spread idea, McGraw. Oracle, I want to watch on a pullback. That was a beautiful entry on Friday, and I just missed it. This EVBG, reverse head and shoulders. I like this over the high. And I like the fact that it's gapping down. NVIDIA, we're in. FCX coming in. Look at this. This is a small double bottom on Uber. That's a double bottom. It went up, came back, retest. The only problem is I wish it had a lot more oversold fluidness to the left. You know, you still got a powerful declining 20 and 50, but it could be the start of something. You know, weekly's a mess. Look at that head and shoulders breakout failure. Wow. Getting extended on the weekly. Look at that, 48 bucks down to 30. Hard Lulu holding well. It's green. Anything green. Look at our JCOM is green. Look at that, beautiful. AMT covered call, green. McDonald's down a buck. Our VMware, green. Case